In today's latest news, we finally have some breaking good news, and that's the fact that we have agreed to sign Malo Gusto from Lyon, but there's a catch. To move on, we discuss the latest news around Moises Caicedo. I'm going to give my opinions on Enzo Fernadnez, and we talk about Cobham as players are signing deals and getting loans. So we got a ton of things to break down and discuss. Only a few more days left until the window is over. Can Todd Boehly and co do the impossible and sign that one guy we're all collectively praying and hoping they will do? Time is going to tell, but in the meantime, while you're here, hit that like button, get involved in the comment section too, and before we get into anything, I need to get one big plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by friends of the channel in OneFootball. Download OneFootball to stay up to date to all things happening before this window ends, because we aren't the only club looking to do business. I'm reading some crazy reports from Nottingham Forest, from Marseille, from Newcastle, plus a lot more. And I know you guys are big football fans, and it's very easy to stay up to date with all things happening. OneFootball has all the latest articles coming straight to your phone, literally the second they get released. As we know, the big story is we have agreed a deal now to sign Lyon's Malo Gusto. So what you guys are waiting for, download OneFootball. You can use the QR scan code on screen or the links in the description and top comment. So right now, let's discuss the breaking story of this evening, as finally we have reached an agreement now to sign Malo Gusto from Lyon, but the catch is Lyon will keep Gusto until the end of the season on loan as part of this deal. For me, I understand things, it's a little bit annoying that we can't turn towards him, but the silver lining is Reece James is essentially nearly back right now. So let's hope that we can maintain his fitness and keep his form, because he is going to be key for us. So technically we could survive without Gusto now. It makes sense to capture him though, because as I keep explaining, we need to make sure we fully exploit FFP right now to get most of our business and deals done. Because what I'm envisioning now for the summer is one of the best pre-seasons potentially we're ever going to see, because finally there won't be any international tournaments that act as distractions. We'll have all the new signings at the club already, a lot of new signings joining on the first day as well too, and I feel like these next 5 to 6 weeks for pre-season could be the most efficient, effective time for Graham Potter to really start to build an understanding and identity. And I feel like every time we've had a great pre-season, we end up having a great season onwards. So for me, this is the litmus test to see what happens. But regardless though, you guys, let's get back to breaking down the details of this story. So naturally, if Gusto is going to remain at Lyon until the end of the season, it means that we can't pay overinflated transfer fees. So it seems like the final price that has been agreed upon is around £26.3 million, with some add-ons on top, potentially taking it to around £30 million in the future. For me, for a talent like Gusto at 19 years old, whose contract expires in 18 months' time, this is the perfect deal, in my opinion. And I guess this was forever going to be the ultimatum if we had any hopes of capturing and signing the player, because yesterday Olas of course came out to state that Gusto would not be leaving Lyon until the summertime. But in his declaration, it did not actually state that a club couldn't buy him. It just meant that ideally Lyon wanted to keep the player here until the end of their season, which for me makes a lot of sense. He comes back with a lot of confidence when he signs for us, and as I'm saying, this is the best workaround to capture a talent like Malo Gusto. I'm just standing here trying to understand, wow, we're really so close now to completely finalizing the squads and creating the perfect balance throughout. I mean, Cucurella and Joe on the left-hand side, Gusto and Reece James on the right. The rotation, the fact that these guys bring different things to the team as well that you can fully utilize. I feel like Graham Potter, as I was saying before, he must be in fantasy land right now, because this isn't real life. Managers don't get this opportunity. This is one of the craziest spending sprees in football history, and we're seeing it right now, and it is still not over yet. Now, maybe I could be getting a bit too carried away and thinking too much, but Gusto's signing does add to the growing French contingency we're seeing at the club right now. Players like Nkunku still to arrive, N'Golo Kante, Badia Shil, Fofana, plus many other French speakers in the club as well too. And then it's got me thinking about the mix of players we have in the squads, a nice mix of UK talents, European talents, Latin talents, etc, etc. And a part of me is feeling all these guys are around similar ages, between the ages of 18 to 24 years old. I think that is the best age group to have in your squad. And I'm thinking about the harmony potentially from a squad like this. There's a lot of like complementary figures at the club, and one thing I know about my football club is that players who sign for us tend to love it here and love the club. So I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. I'm loving the potential of this group, of this team, of this squad, how they all complement each other as well too. I think it truly is exciting times. Like, you guys know how I feel about Gusto. Like, the guy's ball progressive skills is one of the best in Europe for his age right now. The effectiveness of his game down the entirety of that right flank, I mean, that is such a unique thing to have, and I'm loving the confidence too, because he's thinking, yes, I'm not fazed by Reece James. I know that maybe if I'm on form, I'm good enough to compete for a place, and they're the type of figures I want to see at my football club, yeah? So that is the first bit of news. So how do you guys feel about this news? Are you excited? What are you expecting from Malo Gusto? And share your thoughts and opinions behind the signing if you're happy. So right now, let's discuss the latest updates around Moises Caicedo. Now, I don't know why I'm laughing from the start, but on Twitter, I saw this Arsenal fan tweet. When Arsenal knock for a player, it's a different story or something like that. And I was thinking to myself, Bobby literally signed João Felix and Mudryk from you. Like, it was so bad that you guys were that confident about signing either one, you had no backup plans in case. Trossard wasn't part of the original plan. He was just like an opportunity that was there in the making. So for me, I feel like Arsenal are kind of hurting a little bit. Their pride's obviously been taking a hit. And naturally, I kind of feel like there's a reason behind why they are going for Moises Caicedo right now, because the reports coming out from the UK is that Arsenal have placed a 60 million bid for Caicedo. That's fixed fee. So there's no add-ons on top. This is a straight 60 million bids. And we found out from The Athletic as the day went on that this was rejected by Brian. But when I read some of De Zerbi's thoughts behind the interest over Caicedo, I wasn't getting that much confidence from him. Essentially, he was saying, I'm still hoping that Caicedo will remain here at Brighton and we hope to keep the player. But why are you hoping? If you know that you don't want to sell him, that dialogue, that language is going to be expressed during these interviews and conferences. So a part of me is still thinking behind the scenes, Brighton are still looking at alternatives, because at the end of the day, they are a selling club. And I feel like the money they're generating from players and talents right now could really set them up for even, longer dominance in the future. And I think that's how they're planning to do things. So I think Caicedo can still leave as long as a very good bid still comes in. Now, reports on the Daily Mail have stated that Caicedo ideally wants to leave during this window. He's so enamored by the interest from us and from Arsenal, and I completely understand and get it. Caicedo came from very humble beginnings, and me personally, I love these types of stories of guys who come from very underprivileged backgrounds, from very poor parts, whose talent is able to put them on and secure their families and themselves for generations. And I feel like I completely understand now why Caicedo wants to make the move, and I think money will talk. But when it comes to talking, if I'm Arsenal, I'm not looking to talk too much, because every time things have been public, you've been red-faced afterwards. I mean, for example, they spent months and months trying to sign Mudryk. But for us, it took us a few days to tie things down, agree terms, and get the deal wrapped up and sealed. So on one hand, if Arsenal were able to find an agreement, you'd imagine that agreement's going to be very, very public. And that will come from Brian, of course, who may feel, okay, there's a bit of a transfer battle on our hands. Hopefully that brings the price up. And naturally from Caicedo's new agency he's signed for, because, for this deal to get over the line, interested parties have been waiting for that agency change. So for me, I feel like there's still some potential in Caicedo leaving Brighton before this month ends. So here's where this story segues into my opinions behind Enzo Fernadnez, because for me, I feel one of the main reasons behind why Arsenal are feeling, so confident now to make a move is because they probably know that our main guy we want is Enzo Fernadnez, and they're hoping to take advantage of the fact that we're distracted by trying to find an agreement now with Benfica. Now, who knows what's going to happen, if there's still hope behind the deal. Me personally, I'm still quite 50-50. A part of me is still feeling like, okay, we've been quite quiet behind the scenes, and knowing like Todd Bowley and Igbali and co, these guys have it in them to pull off something mad and impossible. I mean, these guys have a history of securing big name players on big name contracts during their times together with the LA Dodgers. So this is part of what these guys actually do. It does seem like if Enzo Fernadnez does remain, he will be owed around €2 million extra on top as a loyalty fee, of course, for remaining during the season. So I feel like this is a power play from Arsenal to take advantage of the fact that right now our attention is focused on Enzo Fernadnez, and this is why we're prioritising him And it makes sense that they'll go for our second choice option right now, because Caicedo will probably feel and understand. I know that they have their eyes set on someone else, but Arsenal are looking like a completely different club. They could be winning the league this season as well too. And of course, I feel that I could take Partey out the team. Now, in terms of Partey's future, who knows what's happening, but I won't even get into that right now, my friends. But I don't know, I feel like there's still a long way to go in terms of midfield recruitment. But for me, worst comes to worst, if we couldn't sign someone, I feel like there's enough quality in this team to help us fight through now to achieve our goals and targets. And I don't want to sign any mid-tier backup options. I'd rather wait until the summer. And listen, we'll have extra competition for Enzo Fernadnez if the move doesn't go through. But that shouldn't put us off. I mean, we've got ambition. We should still go back there with our chests sticking out as well and still look to get something done. So right now, my friends, let's end things on the final stories and we talk Cobham, because there have been a few articles coming out suggesting that a lot of the families and parents of these players at Cobham are feeling a bit insecure now due to the vast amounts of money we're spending on the squad, especially the vast amounts of money we're spending on young talented guys that would of course take the place of their kids in Cobham. So I guess this news is pretty positive, because there have been some contract renewals now for guys like Dion Rankin, for guys like Humphreys, for guys like Webster, and of course Mothersfield as well too. In the case of Humphreys, he has joined Paderborn on loan for the season, and I love the fact that instead of going to like the Championship or League One, he went abroad instead to test himself out there. I feel like that gives you a good indication about the mentality and how these guys think, so I rate that. Obviously Humphreys, two-footed, very good at playing out from the back, and I feel like he could really grow into himself, of course, being somewhere else and learning to become a man, which will be key for him. Of course, moving on to guys like Webster. This is a big story because, of course, he has agreed to signing a new deal, because Webster was getting interest from so many clubs across Europe, like the most notable ones being like Dortmund, PSV, plus a host more. And the fact that he's agreed to signing a new contract, of course, getting more money from it, there must be some assurances about his future, like his long-term future at this football club. Because in Charlie Webster, he's had a big rep at this club for many years, and actually in terms of what he offers in midfield, I mean, this is a guy that is two-thirds, that can play short, medium and long distances, great switch balls as well too, can drive up the field, has an amazing long shot, has those match-winning abilities as well too, and is very technical and skillful. Like that, some people have compared him to like a Mateo Kovacic in that sense. So there's a player here that could be developed and built from. When you're looking at guys like him and Santos, you know, I kind of feel like Santos will have his work permit accepted, especially with his exploits for the Brazil under-20 team currently. There's talent here to utilize alongside the incredible attacking players we have and the experience we still have in the squad. It's up to Graham Potter to find the best solutions. So you guys, on that note, that is the end for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are excited that Malo Gusto is going to be our player for next season. So on that note, I'm Nini FC, this is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.